I've been driving this F-150 Lightning for the last 6 months, and I wanted to talk about what it's like to own one here in Franklin, Kentucky, which is a rural area. A lot of people talk about owning an electric vehicle in a metro area, but they don't often talk about what it's like to own one in an area where it's not common to get chargers. So let's talk about it and let's see some of the questions I've been getting. Now, I was gonna wait and get my truck fully cleaned up for you, but as you can tell, it's pretty dirty and I've actually been using it quite a bit. But I think that actually helps quite a bit because it shows you that I use this truck for more than just driving to and from the dealership. I'll actually clip in a few things of me using it over the last few months. And a lot of the questions I've been getting is what do I think of the electric truck? And I'm not lying when I say to you, this has been the best truck I've ever owned. Now, I've owned two of the newer body Rangers, as well as I've had an F-150 in my family. You know, my brother's got one, my dad's got one. I've had a 1500 Chevy in the family that I've driven before on both the old body style and a new body style. And I have really loved owning an electric truck over the last few months. Now, this could just be that it's my first full-size F-150 that I own, but a lot of the benefits are that it's a little bit cheaper for me to drive daily. It's got a front trunk that I really am surprised with how much use I've gotten out of it. It's quieter and better driving than any truck I've had before. And it's got a lot less maintenance. I'm at about 6,000 miles and I'm usually supposed to be due for an oil change by now, but I've not had to do that. I'm actually waiting for around 10,000 miles where I need to do my scheduled maintenance of a tire rotation, a check of fluids, and a check on the suspension here. Here on the inside, you're gonna see some of the numbers that I really think are important to take a look at. So I've been tracking it on this trip one for the entire time that I have owned the truck. So we've got 6,330 miles of use. We're about 241 hours of being on. I'm getting 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. And that's gonna equate to a max range of about 230, sometimes 240 if it gets stretched all the way up to 100%. I don't typically go up to 100% very often, but as you can see here, I'm at 81% and I get about 189 miles of range. Now, towing is the biggest question I get asked. Does it take half of my battery away by instantly hooking a trailer up? And will my truck even tow very well? So the second part of that's really simple. This truck has plenty of power. It's the fastest, most torquey vehicle I've ever had. It's got the power to pull just about anything. Now, the reason that my tow capacity is so low, it's actually lower on this truck than it was on my 2023 Ranger that I traded in. I've got 5,000 pounds of max towing capacity on this truck. The biggest thing that I can say about towing is to make sure you are comfortably within your tow capacity. I will probably tow no more than about 1,500 pounds with this truck. That's going to be a 2000 GVWR max trailer that's got a zero turn on it. So tops, I'm hitting about 1,500 pounds. So not something I'm doing an incredible amount, but also not nothing, right? So what I like about the truck is that it has a few different features in the tow area that are going to make that experience a little bit easier. First things first, if you go over here into the towing section, I've actually got the memory of all of the trailers available to me. Now the default is just the one that's standard on the truck. Now the TSC trailer is my trailer that I've actually got from Tractor Supply Company. It's the one that I use the most. As you can see, I've got 289 miles of distance on it, and it'll tell me per full charge, I can get about 154 miles. Obviously, if my max range is about 230, that's going to be a little bit better than that. So it's not going to instantly convert everything to a half battery. It's actually using your trailer tow system and the distance and the range to calculate your range once you hook up a trailer. It's a really interesting setup, and this becomes much more important once you are doing that towing so that you can actually kind of adjust it over time with your usage. Now, again, I've got other trailers that, depending on the weight or the length, are going to make a difference, as well as if you just use your default trailer, you're gonna have 133. So that's me forgetting to put the trailer on. The other thing is I always forget to turn my tow haul mode on. This makes a big difference in that it makes things a little bit smoother, doesn't let me as much hit the power or you know, I think it honestly feels like it makes it a lot heavier regenerative brake. So I always forget to turn that on. I wish there was a setting for me to do it automatically once it recognizes the trailer, but here we are. Other than that, I typically stay in normal. I've gone in off-road twice. Once was in a field and the other was just when I first bought it to see what it looked like. I don't go off-road as much in this truck as I used to with my Ranger. Part of that's I'm a little bit afraid of what it would do if I scrape something along the bottom. That's mostly just a fear. I've never actually been, you know, in a spot to really need to do that. Plus, I've just been a little bit busier with this truck versus using my Ranger, where I have had a full winter of hiking and all that kind of stuff. So I'm curious to see what this is going to look like. Other questions I get are going to be about charging. What's this thing really take to charge in terms of both cost and time? So time, I have never sat in this truck and charged for longer than 45 minutes. I've been in public a few times to do that, and I've only like physically sat in the seat for about 45 minutes a couple of times. Otherwise, I'll plug it up and there's something else to do. The time that I did sit was at the Corvette plant, or the Corvette Museum up in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I charged at the Electrify America there. Usually they have a restaurant open. I was there on a Sunday, the restaurant wasn't open. So for the most part, you're not stopping and just sitting in your vehicle unless you want to. I've done that and read a book. I've watched, obviously, videos on my phone. For a long period of time, I did have the settings on my screen to watch YouTube, play games, do that kind of stuff. There's stuff that you can do in that time frame, but I've never sat in the truck by myself for more than 45 minutes. I'll take that time to go walk the dog or something. So that's the fast charger. Otherwise, I'm plugging up here at work or somewhere where I'm doing something in public where I will charge while I'm out and about during the day on a level 2 charger. I'll come back several hours later and have enough charge to get where I need to go. So that's the time commitment. Really and honestly, it's not that bad. A lot of people are really concerned about that. There is an available fast charger down the road at a gas station, which I think would be okay because they've got a restaurant there, they've got showers there. If I were traveling, as that becomes more normal, it gives you options to do stuff. The cost is the other thing. Here at the dealership, for the longest time, we had ours set to 52 cents per kilowatt hour, which was on the high side in our area. We had it set for that, and I was averaging about $25 to $30 per time that I charged. I would never charge fully, but if I did, the highest I would go was from about 15% all the way to about 90%. And that would be about $38 in a 49 to 52 cents. We've actually changed the cost of our chargers and lowered it a little bit, but 49 cents per kilowatt hour. It equated to about $38 once I fully charged all the way up to 90%. So it's either cheaper than a full tank of gas, or it's going to be about the same amount. Now that's my rate here in Kentucky. Other states are going to vary, and it varies based on the charge manufacturer. And the other major question I get is, would I buy another one? Really and honestly, when I tell people is that this has been the best driving experience I've ever had in a vehicle. It's just so comfortable, and there's so many features about this truck that I didn't know that I would like, that I really don't know that I could go back. The Pro Power on board, having the charge availability on the battery, having a frunk, the quietness, the way that it drives. I didn't know that I would like those things as much. A person that would probably be driving a hybrid if it wasn't an electric. But outside of that, this driving experience has been really, really good. So I definitely think that it takes a little bit of a lifestyle change and somebody to be in tune with your vehicle, not unlike people used to be with manual cars and muscle cars and that kind of thing. It does take a certain level of kind of paying attention to your vehicle that took, but just on a different side of knowing your charger, your range, and all of that. You have to really pay attention to those things once you're driving, not in an unnecessary amount, but just to kind of keep yourself from ever being in a situation. I've only had 2 times where I absolutely needed more range and could not do the thing that I wanted to do and had to borrow a vehicle. The first time was towing related. The second time was just purely not having enough time to charge in a hurry to do something unexpected. So other than that, I've had plenty of time to charge up to do what I needed to do. But otherwise, I had a truck available to me here at the dealership, or I borrowed my father-in-law's truck to get what I needed to done that day. I personally am not a person that thinks that we are quite ready to go full EV in my household. We will have either an electric vehicle, or I'll have like a hybrid truck like the Power Boost, and a electric vehicle for my wife. Otherwise, I'm just not quite ready yet to go fully EV for all of our driving unless I have a really good access to something for longer trips. My family's pretty spread out and I need to be able to make those longer trips. Other than that, I would easily buy the F-150 Lightning again. I would probably get an extended range. The standard range is just kind of on that. I'm not quite sure that I'm going to make this, so I need to go charge. I have run into that a couple times where I've needed to just go top off real quick. It would be great to have that extra 20 to 30% of range, especially once we are now getting into the colder months. I'll do a full update and let you all know how that's going once I get into that time frame. Otherwise, it's been a completely positive experience, and I'm glad that I'm actually doing it because it's been really beneficial to explain to our customers over the long term. Y'all let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. We'd love to hear them down in the comments below. Again, subscribe to the channel. I know this video took a little bit longer than I liked it to, but I will do a couple other ones while I'm doing this. I do want to talk about the 5 things that I love about this truck, and then the 5 things that I really wish would be a little bit different. Some of those are Lightning related, some of those are full-size truck related. Other than that, that's about all I've got for you today, folks. Go ahead and subscribe down the channel below and hit that notification bell so as we post more videos, you'll be the first ones to see it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.